Health so far outweighs all other blessings of life that a truly healthy beggar is happier than a sick king. Whoever violated trust once loses it forever. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. Mostly, it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. Money is human happiness in the abstract. He, then, who is no longer capable of enjoying human happiness in the concrete, devotes himself utterly to money. Reading is thinking with someone else's head instead of one's own. The first 40 years of life give us the text, the next 30 supply the commentary on it. The clever are not so much looking for loneliness as they avoid the fuss created by fools. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom. For it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. Ordinary people merely think how they shall spend their time. A man of talent tries to use it. Life is a constant process of dying. Each person can be listened to, but not everyone is worth talking to. To get married means to halve your rights and double your responsibilities. It is better to find your mind in silence than in conversation. He who does not like loneliness does not like freedom. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. Living happily means living less unhappy. If you have reason to suspect that a person is telling you a lie, look as though you believed every word he said. This will give him courage to go on. He will become vehement in his assertions and, in the end, betray himself. Sociability of people is not based on love for society, but on the fear of loneliness. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. Compassion for animals is intimately associated with goodness of character, and it may be confidently asserted that he who is cruel to animals cannot be a good man. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. Treat a work of art like a prince. Let it speak to you first. We will gradually become indifferent to what goes on in the minds of other people when we acquire a knowledge of the superficial nature of their thoughts, the narrowness of their views, and of the number of their errors. Whoever attaches a lot of value to the opinions of others pays them too much honor. Religion is the masterpiece of the art of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. If we were not all so interested in ourselves, life would be so uninteresting that none of us would be able to endure it. We seldom think of what we have, but always of what we lack. After your death, you will be what you were before your birth. Sleep is the interest we have to pay on the capital which is called in at death, and the higher the rate of interest, and the more regularly it is paid, the further the date of redemption is postponed. He who writes carelessly confesses thereby at the very outset that he does not attach much importance to his own thoughts. Fate shuffles the cards, and we play. Intellect is invincible to the man who has none. He who has lost all hope has also lost all fear. Almost all of our sorrows spring out of our relations with other people. Life is full of troubles and vexations that one must either rise above it by means of corrected thoughts or leave it. Great men are like eagles and build their nest on some lofty solitude. 9/10 of our happiness depends on health. If they gossip about you, it means that you are enough not only for yourself, but also for others.